Hi, first graders. Today, we're going to do some counting collections at home. You might think back and remember doing counting collections in the classroom. It was those days when we would take a bunch of different objects and see how many we had. We would also think about what was the best way to count our objects. So, right now, I want you to just think for a second, what in your house could you count? Maybe you have some beans or rice. Maybe you have a toy that you have lots of. Legos, for example, would be great. Or maybe you have a puzzle. I think today I'm going to choose to count some puzzle pieces. So go ahead and pause the video and go and collect some objects. You can think about what kind of challenge you want. Maybe you want to grab a lot of objects, close to 100, or maybe you want a smaller collection. And parents, if you're watching, you can help your student by deciding how many objects they should count. So in first grade, we count up to 120. If you want to go a little bit higher than that for your student, that's okay. So go ahead and pause and find a collection. Okay, with your collection in front of you, I'm going to get mine ready. I'm going to open my puzzle. Let's see if you can see this. And I'm going to pick a couple handfuls of pieces. Now, I know this puzzle has 1,000 pieces, and I am not going to count that many. Okay. I think I have a good size collection right here. I'm trying to do this so that you can see everything. So when we have a counting collection, the first thing you want to think about is how can we keep track of our counting? In class, sometimes we count by tens. So I want to push my pieces to the side and make sure that I have space to count my objects. Now, I borrowed some of Bridget's bowls, and I'm going to use those to keep track of my piles of 10. If you don't have bowls, that's okay. Just make sure you're being really careful with your piles as you make them on the table or the floor, okay? All right, so I want to think about how can I count by 10? Do I want to just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Do I want to count by twos? It's up to you. I'm going to count by ones because then I know I can be more accurate. So I'm going to take 1 and put it in my bowl. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not going to add any more than 10. I need to know that every bowl or every pile I make is the same amount. So now I'm going to put that bowl to the side. And I'm going to do another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. Next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to keep going until I've counted all of my objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'm looking at my collection and I have a few left, but I don't think I have enough to make another pile of 10. I'm going to show you, or try to show you, my leftover puzzle pieces. So right now, let's see. Right now, I have these pieces left over. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So because I don't have enough to make 10, I'm not going to put it in one of my bowls because that will just be confusing when it comes time to count. Now I need to count all of my bowls and see what my total is. So I'm going to count like this. How many is in each bowl? 10. So I'm going to count them by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now that I've counted my tens, I'm going to count on from 50. I could know what 50 plus 7 is in a snap, but in case I don't, I'm going to put 50 in my brain and count on. So 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. I have 57 puzzle pieces all together. First graders, now I'm going to go and I'm going to look at how I counted. I'm going to think about this page right here. Now this page is not in your packet this week, but it is on Seesaw. So you can go in and look at the template. If you don't have access to Seesaw, that's okay. You can also just do this on a blank piece of paper. So I'm going to show you what the recording sheet looks like, and then you can follow along as I record my work. So first graders, here's the Counting Collection recording sheet that you can find in Seesaw. You'll notice the first thing it asks was how many items did you count? So I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to write 57. Then it says, here's a picture of how I counted. This is where I'm going to draw my bowls. I can look back too, but I had 5 bowls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to think about how many items were in each bowl. So I'm going to draw my bowls. And then I'm going to write how many puzzle pieces were inside. And I had 10. Now, I'm showing how I counted. So I'm just going to write 10 in each one. That way I know that's how many objects there were. I don't want to forget about my 7 pieces that were left over that I couldn't count or couldn't put into a bowl. So I'm going to draw them. Now, I could try and be fancy and draw puzzle pieces, but instead I'm just going to do a little dot. 1, 2, you know what, I bet I could make my pencil, let's see, thicker. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are my 57 objects. I can count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Now down here, you'll notice it says 57. That's where my number is going to go. I'm going to make my pencil smaller again. 57 is the same as tens and ones. So how many tens did I have? I can look up here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tens. And how many ones did I have? That would be 7. Now, Here's where it gets a little bit trickier. Again, you're going to write the number 57 in the box. Here it says 57 plus 10 is the same as, so here's a trick to figure out what 57 plus 10 is. Maybe you know it in a step and you're ready to write it down. But if not, you can go back to your bowls and you can pretend that you have an extra bowl. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm going to pretend there's an extra bowl right here, 60. Maybe you have an empty bowl that you can use and place on top. That's great. But for me, I'm just going to pretend. So I had 60 and I still have my 7 ones. So I don't want to forget about them. So 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. If you wanted, you could even draw an extra picture, an extra bowl. Maybe I'm going to do it in red. So I know that's my plus 10. And again, I could count them. So 57 plus 10 is 67. Now the last one says 57 minus 10. This time I'm going to take my bowls and I'm going to take one away. I now can count and see how many there are. 10, 20, 30, 40, plus my 7. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47. So 57 minus 10 is the same as 47. Now, I could have gone in and I could have erased my extra 10 and I could have crossed out that 10 and counted that way. 10, 20, 30, 40. So there are lots of different options for you to figure out what is plus 10 and what is minus 10 from your total number of items. And then I'm done. Now you'll notice there is a second page. I could do another counting collection. Maybe maybe I'm counting different items, or maybe I'm just adding more puzzle pieces to the collection that I just counted. So today I want you to find a collection and let us know how many items you counted. All right, happy counting, first graders.